We use a break-even analysis in business to work out when the production of a certain product will start making money or bringing in a profit. Now, there are two important factors that we need to consider. One of them is the cost to produce products. And normally what we'll have is some kind of setup plus some cost per item. Now, if we think about how to make a linear model, then we will consider that we'll normally have a starting point and we'll normally have some sort of rate, and that my starting point is often my y-intercept and my rate is my gradient. So generally what we'll have when we look at the cost to make a certain number of items is that the cost will equal some setup fee plus some cost per item multiplied by the number of items. And that's the general way we're going to view costs. On the other hand, the revenue is the amount of money that you have coming in from selling an item. So it's the incoming money. So for every item, you'll have a certain amount of money that you sell it for. So that'll be the sale price. And the revenue will therefore equal the sale price per item. And look, here we have per again, so we know this is going to have something to do with gradient. Sale price per item multiplied again by the number of items we sell. So that's how we can calculate the revenue. So what we have in summary is the cost is the setup costs plus the production cost per item, how much it costs to make one thing times the number of items you make. And the revenue is the money coming in. So it's how much the sale of one item brings in times the number of items made. And then your profit is the difference between the two. So it's your revenue minus your cost. If your revenue, the money coming in, is bigger than the cost, then you're going to be making a profit. If the cost, the money that it takes to make an item, is bigger than the revenue, then you're losing money. So therefore, if profit is positive, then you're making money. And if profit is negative, then you're losing money and it's a loss. Generally, we like to graph a break-even analysis. So with our two main points here, let's have a look at what it looks like. Remember, my cost setup is normally my y-intercept and my cost per item is my gradient. And notice in both cases I have X is the number of products made and sold. Or let's call them items. That might be a more correct word. So the number of items. So that means my cost is going to have some y-intercept somewhere, which is my initial setup cost, and look something like that. Now my revenue, remember, if I don't sell anything, no money comes into my hands. My revenue starts at 0 normally, and it goes up like this. Normally you'll find the gradient of revenue is more steep than the gradient of cost. Otherwise, you'll never get to the point where revenue is greater than cost, and therefore you'll never make any money. And your profit is the difference between the two. On this side, where my revenue is greater, that's my profit. So remember, profit equals revenue minus cost. On the other side here, where my cost is greater than my revenue, this part indicates where I'm making a loss. And now when they meet, this point here is my break-even point. And what that tells me is how many items do I need to make and sell before I start making a profit. And that's the whole point of what we're doing here. So quite often you'll either have to find the break-even point or you'll need to find either what my profit or loss is when I make a certain number of items, or how many items I need to make to get a certain profit or loss. Either way, what we do is we start with the cost, we look at the revenue, and then we generate this equation, which gives us our profit. When our profit is 0, we're at the break-even point, and the break-even point can be found as well by letting the cost and revenue equal, which we can find using simultaneous equations. And that's how to do a break-even analysis for further maths. If you found this or any of my other videos helpful, please subscribe to my channel or like the video. Thanks.